Third Degree continues. From as far back as the 1970s, many South Africans loved the music of Rodriguez. But as a musician, he was virtually unknown in his home country in the United States. Through the search of two South Africans, Rodriguez finally discovered that although a mere construction worker in the US, across the ocean, he was incredibly famous in South Africa. And the rest, as they say, is history. Following the release of the movie, the 71-year-old went on to win worldwide acclaim. And fascinatingly, his daughter Eva moved to the Cape, where she found a deep spiritual connection to the continent.
In downtown Detroit, music was always a huge part of the Rodriguez's family life. Rodriguez himself grew up playing the family guitar with his brothers. He played small gigs, and his three daughters would sometimes go along. They knew he'd made some recordings, but not much more than that.
We were young, so the first ones, I can only remember certain images of being in the studio. Dad's got an album, you know the words, you can sing them, and he's practiced them in the bathroom, you know, all the time, and that's what we knew. We didn't have any of the albums. We had one scratched one or broken one. Over the years, we moved a lot, so we didn't have a lot of things with us. And we didn't have any of the music.
It was in the late 1990s that a newspaper article finally found its way across the ocean to the Rodriguez family. It was to change their lives. For the first time, they heard about their dad's success on the southern tip of Africa.
I phoned my dad, like, Dad, I think you're famous in South Africa. It was like late at night, and he's like, see if we can go there. That's the only thing he said, we'll see if we can go there.
And after some planning, they did. Rodriguez and his three daughters arrived in Cape Town in 1998, and the fans went wild.
Please welcome Rodriguez.
Initially, it was just crazy. When he arrived in Cape Town and we drove down Camp Spade Drive to literally walk into the house and there he was standing there, that was crazy.
So, a huge success in South Africa, but the big question, where is all the money from the royalties in the years prior to his rediscovery?
We know that the money left South Africa and went overseas, but somewhere between South Africa and Rodriguez, it didn't get to him.
But it's not eating him up.
When Rodriguez is going, I'm okay with this. He's not okay with it, but he's not frantic about it.
His family is confident it will all be sorted out in time.
Some people ask that, like, how could you not be bitter? And like, where's my money? Give me my money. Well, we would like it, thank you very much. We now just found out, you know, there is money. You know, because this is a process too. So this is hopefully the story continues, is that there is money, there's significant money. There are people now, there are ways, means, and, you know, finances to source that out.
Siegemann says Rodriguez knows what happened. He's just not saying.
He's got a little box under his bed that I've actually seen with papers in, and I mean, it's all there. You know, he keeps his stuff very close to his chest, so one day, but it's not going to be for a while.
And they choose not to dwell on the past.
Rodriguez doesn't want to go back. He doesn't want to look back, in the sense that what we're doing now is real time, you know, and it goes on from here.
Today, his daughters are his managers.
Definitely doesn't have a telephone. He doesn't have an email address, you know. So everyone handles that stuff for him. But he's just happy having his family with him. They make sure that nothing happens to Dad, and they're good. They're like tigers. Everything gets taken care of. Everything gets watched, and they tour around with him and tell the photographers when it's enough, and it's good. He trusts the people around him.
At last, he's making money. And finally, just doing what he loves.
He's not putting in a pool, and he's not going to buy a Porsche. He's going to make sure his family are all fine and happy, and that's all he wants, because he's enjoying just going around the world playing to fans. That's all he really wants to do. He's waited so long to do that.
And Ethan, Eva's child, has been to many of his granddad's concerts.
It feels good. It makes me smile whenever the crowd stands up and he gets a stand-up ovation.
Rodriguez talks about freedom. Freedom, yeah. I think, you know, I can't say what his message to the world is. What's your message to the world? You know, like, what? Am I supposed to have a message? Am I going to write it out? Like, what is my message to the world? I don't know. What's his? I don't know what it is. But like now, because the circumstances are going well, and you know, he's getting paid, and yeah, and there's a lot of other things to come, and his is freedom, you know, financial freedom, whatever freedom, and he's doing the things now, you know. Surprisingly, he's got all these things to do still.
Give you Sugar Man.
His music has always been about freedom. It hit South Africa during some of apartheid's worst excesses, touching a chord with many, especially, but not exclusively, white South Africans who despised the racist government.
Rodriguez was really the most popular common list of music we had that had that political anti-establishment edge. So it had to rub off. It also had like beautiful love songs and songs about how many times you've had sex, but there was the political thing. The mayor hides the crime rate because of, you know, that kind of stuff. So come on, it had to have some influence on those people who were looking for that influence.
They approached me. Having been in the Black Consciousness movement, they were part leader of it in the Durban area. They knew Steve Biko. He listened to the music. It was playing in Soweto.
There was a weird story with two Russian soldiers on the one side of the river in Angola was shooting at a South African soldier on the South African side, and they were both listening to Rodriguez. So he was just everywhere.
Amazingly, despite years of hard labor and not enjoying the fruits of his musical success, he remains positive and physically very active.
Yeah, he's strong. He's a strong man. He lived a pretty clean life and a hard worker, healthy. Rodriguez has never done drugs. I hope it's okay that I tell people that, because everyone assumes that those songs are drug-induced. I think he said they're descriptive, not prescriptive. And I did ask him, as a daughter to a father.
And success has not changed him. Eva's good friend was a fan most of her life, and through Eva has spent time with her idol.
He's so humble and kind and loving, and there's always hugs, and he's always with the kids and doesn't often say much, but he just carries that aura, that spiritual beauty with him.
Whether he's religious or not, that doesn't really come out. It's just like how a human being should behave in this world to his fellow men. What is harmful to you, don't do to anybody else. And he's the kindest human being. When they say he gives his money away, he doesn't stand on the street, but he makes sure that everybody who can be helped and everything, he takes care of them.
Coming up, the daughter of Rodriguez finds her spiritual calling in the Cape.